All right, guys. So Dave Whichard's in the studio with me today, which is awesome. Thanks for coming here, Dave.
Well, it's an honor. Honor to be here for sure.
No doubt. So what I've kind of tried to dissect how you've done what you've done, which is nothing shy of, to me, amazing. And, you know, I know a lot of folks don't like saying that, and you don't like hearing it, but it's the truth, okay? But I think, to me, one of the key things I believe helped you get to where you are now is the fact that you chased the heat, meaning, bro, you were everywhere, like nonstop, 24/7, 365. And it's been 2 years of your life. So, like, if you give 2 years of your life as fanatical as you did, here's the result, right? So can you kind of go through to you the importance of getting around the heat, getting around the fire? You were in Boca as often as you could be. You were with Sean as often as you could be. You asked questions. You really chased that knowledge. And I try to get people to understand how important that is. And to me, I think one of the reasons is ego that folks don't do it. But it's a no-brainer, if you will, and it's worked for you. Can you go through that with us? Because I love watching it.
Well, first of all, it's an honor to be here, an honor to be at FFL and the whole company, and it's just a blessing. And we were talking earlier about it. I think having faith is a big thing. I mean, and again, it's not about me. I don't want it ever to be about me. I want to help people. I think when it comes to what we do for work and serving people, if we don't make it about us, we make it about the client. It makes every day okay because you're just serving the client. It's not about you or the income or anything like that. And it makes it a lot easier to go out there with that attitude than making it about you and your situation. Because if you're giving to them, then it's always going to work out. The numbers will work out. And it's the same thing here. I wanted to, I don't know where I learned, my mom, I don't know, lots of different people. But at the end of the day, if I'd make it about me and it was only me, then no one else could do it, right? So it's not. I'm not special other than God made me. And I have a drive in me like that. I was hungry for a long time, but it's just a service attitude that was instilled in me young. I don't know. I guess I saw my mom do it. I mean, we played sports growing up like a lot of people. My head football coach and basketball coach, I learned a lot from them. Not only about sports. I mean, sports teaches a lot about life. I think there's a lot of guys that are very guys and gals. Not that you had to be an athlete, but there's so much. Like in football, is like war. It's like going to war with somebody when you're going to take somebody's head off or take a hit or whatever, and go through that tunnel and you have your bust through the flat, whatever they call it, and run out of that field, and then you're laying your life on the line essentially for the people around you. And that's kind of the way I look at it here. It's like I didn't want to let anybody down. To this day, it's like I had a call from Sean the other day, and I called him back a little bit later because I was on a plane. I couldn't, and I just wanted to tell him, like, man, I'm sorry I let you down. And he goes, no, you're good. Like, but I didn't, like, I mean, it wasn't. I felt I will take responsibility for anything that's in my business or my life, whatever. Because again, it's up to me. Like, it's easy for people to blame other people. Right. But I'm going to it's me as a leader. I'm going to take responsibility if someone on my team fails. Now, what I mean by this, if I've given them the right direction and all that, I whatever happens, I'll take it, And Sean's the same way.
Yes, he is.
Like even though it's probably not his fault, he will own up and say, I should have done a better job here, or I should have done this better, or I should have gotten this out there better. And I followed that. So, when it came to getting around good people, I've just loved, dude, I've always wanted to be a part of a team. I've always wanted to be around people that cared for one another, would fight for one another, that were positive. And, it goes back to, I guess, my early, like I said, being a part of the team. And so when I had a chance to get out and be around Andrew Taylor, I would do it. When I got a chance to talk to Grady, I would do it. You and I now are forming a great relationship. I'm sure I'll be in Maryland on occasion, or we'll, our wives get along great, which is awesome. And I'm sure we'll spend time together working, but also having a, living life, which is great. Every time, Sean is one of those things where I just wanted to be around him. I want to learn from him, hear every word he had to say. And, obviously the relationship's grown to a point where it's very, I feel close, but at the same time, he's also going to direct me and slap me around if I need to. So that's fine too. Good news is he doesn't have to do that very much because I try to stay narrow. I try to stay focused. I'm working essentially 24/7. And what I mean by this, it's not that I don't sleep, but I don't sleep much because I'm thinking about what we do. I'm thinking about how I can change somebody else's life. I'm thinking about how I can help my agents. There's nights where I go to bed heartache. And you're like, why? Because my agents maybe are not winning like they should, or maybe they, can't take care of this or take care of that, because people are going to fail. The thing is, we got to get them through the failure because you're going to fail. That's part of success. It's how quickly we can get them back up. How can we keep their attitudes up? How can we pull them along long enough so they can figure it out, like Frank has, like Dominic and all that. And so going back to what he was talking about, we had all this stuff laid out in front of us because these guys went through heartache. They went through, not having leads. They went through, when they first came here, crazy stuff with attorneys and all that stuff. Just think about that. Just the fact that the original pioneers, if you will, for FFL, don't go through all that mess. Mark Mead, all those guys, we don't have the opportunity we have in front of us to change our family's life. And to me, that just matters because they laid that foundation. And there's so many other people who have come along since that have fought through it and, taken no's and had debt, all those things to allow us to have the opportunity to change our family's lives. And we need to be grateful for that. And the best way for me to show grateful was to go and work as hard as I could. And if it worked, it was going to work, and it did, and I believed it would. And I continued to move and give it away, gave away the comp. I mean, if our whole standard is, hey, we're not going to steal people's money, then why would I do it? I mean, that's what I heard. So 5% is all I needed, guys. I'm just saying, I don't need 20% or anything like that. We're still in money, I believe. So 5, 10, fine, whatever. Yeah. Get with your mentor, listen to them. And I just followed what Sean told me to do and worked really hard doing it. And I would get around him anywhere I could. Anytime if you get Road to Integrity, do it. If you get the Road to Hall of Fame and he's there, do it. Any chance you get just to listen. And by the way, I have like every recording, I think. But by the way, Sean, I don't give it out to anybody. But every call that he did with Andrew Taylor prior to him doing the Instagram, I still have them.
Sure.
As long as they still play, they're on my phone. And I try to get every call every week, no matter what he's talking about. He was talking about me and beat me up, I'd still listen to it.
That's right.
And I'll listen to it 5 times because I want his mentality.
Right.
And Frank was talking about this earlier, guys. And I think Nick told me this, but he's like, pick somebody. If it's Frank that you relate to, if you like how his voice, what he's talking about, his energy, whatever. If it's Paul McLean, he's a great teacher, but maybe it's Andrew. But if it's somebody you just want to, act like a crazy man like me and listen, whatever. I'm just saying, like, find some people you relate to and go watch all their stuff, and then turn around and find somebody else and do the same thing. And anyway, I don't know, just some things I'm talking about. So, well,
I know, I love it. And here's the kicker, right? So I always tell people, you start getting around Sean, you're gonna win, and some people go, well, Sean doesn't call me or doesn't answer my phone, doesn't call me back. I go, yeah, you need to work harder. So it's, yes, get around the fire, but you weren't willing to not have that, which means what? You don't sleep much. You're running like a maniac. You're giving comp away because that's how we do it. You were a Hall of Fame producer. All of the key ingredients to this, you did, and you did it at a higher level, which Sean couldn't ignore, right? You stacked that deck in your favor. So it's not just going, hey, I want to get around, because there's 15,000 agents that would all love to get on a jet and fly around and be able to ask questions and get that time because it's priceless. You have to, you picked your head up and you were noticed by the amount of activity you did, which is, to me, I think it's a beautiful thing. And you're right, Sean's tough. He can be. You've played football. Was your coach a softie? No. I've coached football for 17 years. My kid, now, am I always a hard butt? No. But when it's time to be, they respond. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's like, and they know I love them, and they respond because they know I love them, right? Mm-hmm. Sean's the same way. he gives you what you need, whether you're going to like it or not. But if you just wipe away all the emotion and all of the sensitivity and go, you know what, it's for me, you tend to take that much better. And I've watched you do that too. Because again, I've been in those shoes. I've been on the other end of those calls where he's telling me something I don't want to hear. I'll tell you a story. This is funny. So back when in 2000, I want to say 14, we did our very first meeting. FFL's very first meeting was in Baltimore. And, you know, again, we had the lawsuit because that just got announced, and we didn't have leads, no CRM. And I'm like, you know, who's going to pay the hotel room, you know? And Sean's like, I'll do it. I'm like, well, I mean, I can help. I don't got no money. He's like, yeah, welcome to our world. We none of us had any money. We just had to go sell. So after the first meeting, he's like, I'm not doing this every month. Go get an office. I'm like, huh? Because I used to work out of my basement, right? Real big business out of my basement. So I said, okay, I went and got the office. So the next month he comes in, we did the meeting, and he's in my office, and it's just him and I. Okay. And he goes, let me ask you a question. I'm like, yeah, what's up? He's like, do you want to see your daughter get married? I'm like, I never wanted to get married. He's like, no, I get it. Me neither. But if she decides to, would you like to be there? I said, yeah. Why? He goes, well, if you keep going the way you're going now, you're going to die because you're fat. You need to lose some weight. And dude, most people would like crumble. Did it hurt? I mean, it didn't hurt because I knew I was. Like, I looked in the mirror every day. I go, yeah, I'm fat. So it's not like he was telling me anything I didn't know. He just loved me enough to go, dude, like serious. And then he goes, like, seriously, bro, like, I love you. Don't you want to be around to see all this stuff when FFL gets to $1 billion? When FFL, you know what I mean? Whatever the goal was back then, don't you want to be around to enjoy it? Like, it's unhealthy. Knock it off. And so I love that stuff about him. But a lot of folks don't want to hear that truth, but you've accepted it. And again, it's not easy to do. What do you think got you again? Because you weren't here your whole life. You're 50 when you got here. So you've been through a lot of stuff to get you there. But what allowed you to allow another man? Because that's the thing. I'm a man. You disrespect me. What allows you to have another man tell you the truth and you not take it personally?
Well, the first thing is I know he prays. I know he reads the Bible. And so I can follow someone like that. I know he works really, really hard. After spending time with him, I also saw how he treated his kids. So I learned so much from him in that way. And I just believed in, you know, he was watching me. It was funny because he said, I watched Dave. And I, you know, because he's not going to let you in and get that close to you until he really knows. Like, is this guy real? Is this guy whatever? Right. And I think the same thing for me. Like, it was not that I doubted him, but I think subconsciously, whatever, I was watching him too.
Sure.
Like, and once I saw him, and I mean, for me, it was really over when I saw him with Pastor Matthew. I mean, a couple months in, like I literally was just starting, and him giving back and saw his heart. That was when it was over for me, as far as I can follow that guy. And then I just kept learning and learning and learning. And I knew he wasn't going to steer me wrong. So, and he has, I mean, if he made a mistake, he would admit to it.
Yeah, that's right.
But he doesn't make many. I mean,
no, he doesn't.
Because everything he does is intentional. He's trying to help people. He wants to grow. The message has not changed. Let's save the agents. You know, when I say this, give them the comp they deserve. Let's give them all the different systems that they can to win. Let's get higher comp. Let's not keep it. It's not ours. We're not stealing it. Let's help them win. It's good for us. It's good for the company, and it's good for the the client. And all those messages are still the same. They don't change. He just gets better, better and better every day. So I wake up every day to try to work on getting better myself every day, whether it's reading more, listening more podcasts, working harder, being up here around Frank and Dom. I mean, I'm learning all the time. I think if you're involved in this and you just love what you do, you're going to learn by just being around great people. And that's what we have here at FFL. And the best of the best. I mean, they come here and we work together and we work hard together. We look out for one another. It's a we all have, there's people that have issues. I mean, I haven't been here long enough to really deal with all that. I just kind of keep moving, but I mean, I'm sure there are. I just want everybody to win. I'm kind of like Sean. So it's easy to follow somebody that wants everybody to win. No doubt. And here's the deal. If you're not doing the things that get the attention,
there are plenty of people that can give you that information, because there's plenty of people that have been mentored personally by Sean.
Yep.
So maybe you go, all right, sometimes you have to work a little harder to get to where you want to get to. So maybe that's reaching out to the board member that's on your team, and then reaching out to the next person. And then maybe it's Sean, maybe it's a 3-step process, right? And you didn't come out the gate Sean's golden child, right? Like, nobody does. He trusts and respects motion. So I hope this helps, guys. I greatly appreciate you, Dave.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Until next time, make it a big week, guys.
Let's go.